To start this video, well, I might separate it into two then. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I have another topic that has nothing to do with Lego. but I'll talk about this for a sec because I just stumbled across this Facebook post asking what people do with the zombified wire, and I actually am running pretty low on zombified wire because I've been replacing all mine. So all my cruddy 9-volt wire that's disintegrating is being replaced. I do have a big bin of ends somewhere. I can't see them right now, but there's a big bag of ends somewhere over there, and I just use my spool of wire. So really quick, this is original 9-volt wire. This was black when it came out of the box. My friend I mentioned bought an RCX for his son, RIS 2.0. Son never really played with it. So it came to me a couple years back because I'm going to use it. and these things were still in the cellophane, the plastic bag. And so they were mint with black. The second I took them out, they started getting less black. And they are less black now than they were when they came out of the bag. But they haven't started disintegrating yet. But I'll give it 5 more years and it'll start disintegrating. But I want to show everybody this. This stuff right here. Amazon.com. BN Tech Go high temp silicone wire, high strand count, tinned copper wire, 24 gauge. This comes in a strip of 6, and you just break them apart in strips of 2. So you can get the 2. And it's just a huge coil. This is 50 feet. 15.3 meters, and then what you do is you see this is the wire, and this is the wire, and it has, oh shush, this is me trying to get this apart right now without wrecking the wire. It has exactly the same thickness. This is blacker. Exactly the same. And it has a little more flexibility than this stuff, but again, I think this stuff's going to start breaking, not now, but a little more flexibility because it is silicone. And you can see it is virtually identical. It's the same thickness this way. It fits right between 2 studs. Like it did exactly the same stuff that this stuff did, except this won't zombify. and I have videos, but my friend over at Battery Powered Bricks, look it up, Battery Powered Bricks. He has an entire playlist dedicated to how you can fix your 9-volt and power functions wiring. I highly recommend his channel. He's not paying me to do this. He really isn't. But I started fixing my own wire so long ago, and I don't have any, I think they're all in the layout right now. And I was just faking it a lot, and I was actually soldering the ends onto the contacts and blah, blah, blah. There's a much easier way to do it, and my friend at Battery Powered Bricks discovered it, or he has a video to do it, and it's really simple, it's really easy, and it's pretty much foolproof. There are ways of screwing it up, and you do it, the best way of doing it is to have a multimeter, because you want to test the throughput to make sure they actually connect on both sides, and you also don't want them to cross. I made some videos about that, talking about the little teeth in here that the wires have to connect to. But overall, you get to the point after doing a few, and if you have hundreds of wires like I did, doing it becomes repetitive, and you set up a little tiny thing made of Lego to help you. And I actually started doing them at shows. My friend Jeff asked for some, and I brought this and my needle nose and a few other things that I needed. You don't need a lot of tools. You really don't need a lot of tools, and it's very easy. You need some patience, and you need a little bit of, very little bit of muscle control, because when you're trying to take these things apart, again, I should have put it back together. When you're trying to take these things apart, you have to push those little clippies in, and then you pull it apart. You don't want to break anything, and I've broken a few of these little pieces here because I pushed too hard with the screwdriver that I have. So it does take a little bit of finesse. There's the word, finesse. It takes a little bit of finesse, but it can be done, and it can be done, quote unquote, easily after you get used to it. And so it's not a big thing. I will not do it professionally, even though I have done literally dozens of them so far for myself and for friends. I've done dozens. I will not open up a bricklink store to sell to people. I will not take orders from people. But when I was at a show, a few shows now, Bricks in a Six and Brickomania, I think I did maybe some Brickomania, close friends asked and I made them. But again, you can do your own. And this thing was, I can't remember what I paid for this, the 50 meter. There's a smaller one, like a 10 meter or whatever. I spent the extra few bucks and got the 50 meter or 50 feet, 50 meter, 50 feet. And it's not even, actually I went through my other roll because this is my second roll. That's how many I've done so far. This is my second roll. I love it. And right now I don't have to make any because I have enough. I do plan on making some electrical modifications to the layout, which I better get on because it's going to be a busy year. I'm already thinking of doing at least 3 shows. We have the Family Fun Fest Day at the International Center in Toronto, so February 16th-ish, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. My friend Kevin's running that show with all the bouncy castles and stuff. We've done it before. I did it by myself before. I did it with my friend Jeff and what used to be RTL Toronto before. And I did it with Turolug a couple years back. It's a lot of fun. It honestly is a lot of fun. And even if you're not displaying, show up because there's a lot of things to do. Last time there was a petting zoo and escape rooms and the bouncy castles. They rent out the entire hall at the International Center. It was seriously a lot of fun. And then we have our little display area. The layout will be there. The full layout will be there because it's 3 days. Again, to talk about this really quick. I am now determining if it's a 1-day show. Either I bring the mini layout or no layout at all, which I did over at the Mississauga Comic Expo, and I brought that thing right there. And that was good enough. I do have some plans to modify that, but it did work at the time and I love doing it. But for shows that are over a day, I'm going to bring the normal layout, especially if I have time to set it up. And for a 3-day show, I want to even have a bigger layout, which I haven't done yet. But that's in the works. So I'm going to have various scales of layouts to bring to various shows, or I'm going to have some smaller stuff. Sandy and I keep on talking about it to bring some smaller stuff to Turolug shows and add on to the other collabs that they do with the other people. It's just time. It's time. And my Lego room I had cleaned up mostly like just a few weeks ago again, and now it's messy again because I was pulling parts and finding stuff, and now there's stuff on the floor again. And I had those used lots that I want to roll into the collection, and used lots that I want to throw out because I don't want to put anybody else to. So on that specific note, to continue on with that bad lot that I got, I talked to some people that are very close to me. So I don't think that lot is worthy of anything at all. I think it's just too much effort. I think it's too much ick. I think it's too much scratched. I mean, there's some nice pieces that I've shown you. There's probably some more nice pieces in there, but it's work to get the nice pieces out. Versus the majority of the collection is nice, then it's easy to get the nice pieces out because the majority is nice. This is, for me, it's like 10%, if that's a kind of a high number for the nice pieces that are in there. And when I come across the cruddy pieces, I get depressed. Like a 4x9 hinge plate, gray, original gray, light gray, and it's busted. And it's like, I get it because, and some other 4x gray plates are busted, blue plates busted. And it's like, so when I come across the crappy stuff, it's like, oh man. And again, I've got lots of used lots in the past, which had broken pieces in it, broken good pieces in it. And I mentioned just a few videos ago, I broke a trans yellow quarter dome, but in the end, that's 0.0001% of my collection, not 90% of the lot, which is crud. So I'm really coming down and looking what I have. I'm really coming down to, I don't want to put the effort into it. And I don't want to speak for others, but I don't know why other people would want to put the effort into it too, because that's full of crud. It's full of absolute crud. It's got broken crayons. It's got floor sweepings. Like, it's got dirt and grime in there. It's like, I don't want to deal with this. And Lord knows I have enough pieces. If again, everybody, if there was no used collections for sale, I would have enough in here to keep me happy until the end of time, because I have enough pieces in here to warrant what I want to build, that I have for what I want to build. So it really comes down to a nice to have that I want to put the effort into, and that ain't it for me. And then I keep on projecting that onto other people. I don't know if anybody else would want to sort through that, because there's not enough fantastic pieces to warrant the effort. Just when I dumped it out, I picked up those two or three dozen pieces already, and I'm going, like, this is work now. So anyway, my plan was to throw it out, just to throw it in a trash can, not even give it to my friend who would do something with the broken pieces I have, because those are broken Lego pieces, not ick. And so I don't know what everybody else thinks about getting a lot full of ick. And again, I in the past, I have definitely got lots with unknown substances in it. like I mentioned, I had that inky thing, but that was just fine because I knew it wasn't ick. I got some stuff that I was questioning what like, it wasn't bubble gum, but it was something. I was like, do I even want to touch that? But again, the rest of the lot, besides the pile of, it reminded me of, here's a story from years ago that I read, because we're going to get at in the next video. John Wyndham, one of my favorite authors, called the Kraken Wakes. It's great story. Absolutely great story. Data Triffids is what he's most known for. But the Kraken Wakes is just Kraken, whatever. It is basically, he wrote it years and years ago. This blobbish thing comes out of the water and spurts out all this small blobs. And if the blob sticks to your arm, you can't rip it off. And as soon as you try to touch it, your hand's not stuck to it. And basically, it's like snot or something like that. This thing sneezes out to whoever the inhabitants of this island were. And then the blob recalls the blobs. And so it eats you. And you can't get this off. So it drags you to the blob. And I think it was called the Kraken Wakes. But I read it 50 years ago, 40 years ago. But the ick that I've encountered in one, maybe two lots, I'm going, was this a Kraken at one point? This blob kind of absorbing Lego bricks, and it's like, and again, this is, I don't want to get people who are squeamish thinking about this. I used to have a sandbox when I was a kid. We lived out in the sticks in Winona, and we had a sandbox. And my dad was a bricklayer, so we had an extremely big sandbox, like very, very big, 6 foot by 12 foot, and it was like 1.5 foot of good building sand, because every time Dad finished a job and there was sand left over, he'd bring it home in the wheelbarrow and dump it into the sandbox. So we had tons of sand for tons of years. The issue is there's neighborhood cats. And this is a big litter box for them. And so we'd be playing in the sandbox, and all of a sudden we're sifting the sand, and all of a sudden cat poo out of the sandbox. Again, this is the 70s and we didn't care. But the point is, I don't know what that was in the Lego set, in the Lego lots that I got years ago. I remember, this is a bit of a story, as if I haven't gone off stories before. We were at a we were at a toy train and doll show, or the Christmas train show, or the spring train show, or whatever show we were at, Jeff and I were at. And I bought a used lot out of one of the vendors that were across the hall, because Jeff and I would walk up and on the aisles trying to see if there's Lego. And there was this cardboard box of Lego, and it was a nice cardboard box, and it was nice 70s and 80s pieces. And I bought it, and I brought it back. But back then, Sandy still had her condo just a few blocks from the International Center, which is fantastic because we didn't have to drive all the way back to Hamilton, and we crashed there. And I brought that box back to her condo, and then I went back the next day to the show, and I left the box at the condo. Well, Sandy, my beautiful wife, that's why I married her, she, one of the many, many lists of reasons that I married her, she started sorting out the Lego from the box that I just bought. because she knows how I do it. So this is like, she pays attention. Captain Oblivious, but she pays attention. So she started sorting out Lego, and I come back at the end of a long day at a show, and there's the Lego pretty much all sorted out perfectly. Oh, thank you, honey. That's great. And she goes, yeah, I sorted it all. It's all there for you. Okay. Was there anything odd? No, nothing odd. And then going just the way she said it. I had my suspicions, but I ain't gonna argue because she sorted the entire, but it was a big box. And she finally, because she can't lie, just like I can't lie. So we cannot play poker with each other or anybody else, because I have no way of hiding things when I'm either happy or sad or whatever. She goes, oh, I came across some pieces that were kind of together with something that was in the middle, and I just threw it out. I said, perfectly understood. She just, there might have been classic space. Doesn't matter. Does not matter at all. If there was completely ultra rare pieces in that of whatever, I don't want to touch it. You don't want to touch it. And ended up in the trash can. I didn't go looking. I didn't want to look. I trust her judgment, and I trust my judgment, and my judgment says that gets thrown out. But there's other people out there who would say, hey, I could use more of these. And that's a perfectly good piece to have. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this piece out of those million pieces that are wrong in there. And I'm going, it is, look, well, I even use this as an example. It is busted. It is broken. So again, it's like, this is most of the pieces in there. It's like, I don't want to deal with it. So anyway, I wanted to make this one quick. It's not that bad, 16 minutes. I'm going to stop this because I got something else to talk about that nothing to do with Lego. Oh, one more thing about Lego. Look at the shirt. Oh, I'm going to sit up. My friend designed this shirt. And he, gave me one. Well, I bought it because I want to give him credit and honor for it. But it's got the solar cell in there. Love me some solar cells. It's got the NXT battery box, the rechargeable battery box, which is funny. It's got the air tank for the pneumatics. It's got the old 4.5 volt battery box for the it's got the wind up motor here. It's wind up, and it's got the capacitor right there in the end. I love this guy. He comes up with these wonderful, it's got something in the back, I can't remember what it is. And it's got this little wind-up key. We were actually talking about this wind-up key the other day. Let's see if we can see it without it being folded. The wind-up key goes with that yellow motor, and I got that, not within arm's reach right now. I got 2 or 3 of those yellow keys over. I mean, the keys are red. The wind-up keys are red. It's kind of sad I don't have one. Somebody was asking how you would get studs and then to completely invert the studs and go the other way. The wind-up key does it because it has studs on both sides. It's a little work to do. But anyway, so that's it. That's all. I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to talk about the other thing I want to talk about, which hopefully won't be long. But, it is what it is. I do go on sometimes. I hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you soon.